fast for you. Benyanin is here today again.
Hi, Benyanin. How are you?
Hi, dear Borna. How are you? I'm fine. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Nice having you here again on my show. So thank you again being here on my show in the second season, Borna Kazerani's show. So tell me, what are you going to sing? What are you going to play today?
Today I'm going to play music from Mohammed Valayar called Roya.
Okay, so
if you let, I'm going to begin.
Whenever you're ready, please start.
Thank you. Let's go. از خواب برگشتم به تنهایی پل میزنم از روح زیبایی چشمامو میبندم و میبینم دنیا رو با چشم تو میبینم دنیای من با عشق درگیره عشقی که تو نباشی میمیره عشقی که تو دست تو گل داده عشقی که به دست من افتاده تو مثل من رویاتو میبافی با دست من موهاتو میبافی خورشید و با چشمات روشن کن یک بار ماه و قسمت من کن تو مثل من رویاتو میبافی با دست من موهاتو میبافی خورشید و با چشمات روشن کن یک بار ماه قسمت من کن من پشت این پنجره میشینم بارون رو تو چشم تو میبینم عیبی نداره چشماتو بکن عیبی نداره باز غمگینم بازی نکن با قلب داغونم من آخر بازی رو میدونم حیفه بخوایم از هم جدا باشیم من خیلی وقت با تو هم خونم تا مثل من رویاتو میبافی با دست من موهاتو میبافی خورشید و با چشمات روشن کن یک بار ما قسمت من کن من پشت این پنجره میشینم بارون رو تو چشم تو میبینم عیبی نداره چشماتو بکن عیبی نداره باز غمگینم بازی نکن با قلب داغونم من آخر بازی رو میدونم حیفه بخوایم از هم جدا باشیم من خیلی وقت با تو هم خونم
Francesco! How are you?
سلام دوستم چطوری؟
سلام دوستم من خوبم تو چطوری؟ من میدونم تو یه خورده فارسی بلدی چطوری؟
خیلی خوبم
خیلی خوبه کجا فارسی یاد گرفتی؟
No, sorry, my first is terrible. I used to study Farsi like a few years ago, and actually at some point I managed to understand something, even written and spoken. But I could not really cross the language barrier at some point, so I stopped studying.
That's okay. That's absolutely fine. So, ciao. All right. Bravo, Francesco. Okay, so I've got a lot of questions here for you, but before I'm going to start my conversation with you, would you like to say hi to those who are watching us now and later?
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone.
Okay. So, I was reading your biography. You were born in Italia or Italy,
Yeah, exactly.
and studied chemistry and worked as a mathematical and physics teacher. And now you are such an amazing painter. I don't understand the relation between mathematics, physics, and painting. What is going on? Tell me.
Okay. I shall explain everything. Well, actually, when I was a child, I used to draw quite often, and I had this passion for dinosaurs when I was a child, and I used to draw dinosaurs all the time, like from books, even from life, from small models. And I don't know, I was really passionate about art. I used to read all kind of art books, even as a child. But actually, I'm passionate about everything, about art, about science, about languages, about everything. I don't know why, but when I was in high school, I started developing this strong passion and connection with mathematics, physics, and sciences in general. So, but actually my favorite subject in high school was still art history. I was, looking at art history books all the time, and there were all these kind of beautiful paintings from the past, and I was like, oh my god, I really want to paint something like that at some point in my life, right? Do you understand what I mean, right? All those beautiful paintings from centuries ago by Caravaggio, for example, worldwide famous painter from Italy. He was also born in Milan, just like me. And when I finished high school, I was in a dead end, because in Italy, artist is not really seen by people as a real job. So since I was very good at mathematics, I was very good at physics and chemistry, I went to university to study chemistry. I love chemistry because there is a strong connection between art and chemistry, pigments, colors, everything. I will explain much better later about this. But deep in my heart, I've always wanted to be an artist, because I felt like I don't want to die without being able to make some kind of art. And so here I am. So that's why I started.
I will get there. I will get there. And that was, it's quite interesting. And yeah, you've talked to me about, you started from the beginning. And when you started, and I was wondering about actually what was going on between mathematics and physics. You were a teacher. Now I want you to tell me from the beginning and tell me what happened in your life when you made agreements with yourself and said, I want to become an artist in the future, which is today. Talk to me from the beginning.
Okay.
And also, why did you start it very late?
Yeah. Okay. When I finished my university, I started teaching privately and even in a local high school, mathematics and physics. I was kind of happy with my teaching work, and I was satisfied. I love that. I think what really drove me towards art was a problem I had in 2016. I had a problem with my vocal cords, and I think I told you about that. Well, today my voice is pretty fine, but it was not like that. I mean, even yesterday in the evening, I literally had no voice at all. Basically, I had, yeah, it's crazy, and it's going on for a very long time. Essentially, I had this vocal cord cyst in my right vocal cord, and it developed after a bad flu I had in February 2016. Essentially, I had this cyst in my right vocal cord, and after many months, doctors managed to identify this cyst, and they removed it. But the problem is the surgery was not performed like correctly. So over the years, I kept having voice issue, voice fatigue, and all this kind of stuff. Teaching was a pain. It was, imagine like teaching without being able to talk, like in front of a class, even in high school, not being able to project your voice and speak louder. So it was crazy. Eventually, my right vocal cord nowadays is completely scarred onto the surface. So it's constantly hard for me to speak loud and to project my voice. So that was really the main reason why during summer 2016 I started drawing and painting, because I needed some way to, to put my bad emotions onto the canvas, onto the paper, and all that kind of stuff. It was really the stem of everything.
Apart from that, you've got a problem with your voice. Do you know why did I ask you that question?
Well, did I tell you about my voice problem?
You've just told me about what happened, and
Yeah.
I found you were struggling for years about who you wanted to be. This is the sense I got when I was reading your biography. That's why I want to talk to you. I wanted to talk to me from the beginning, and that was quite interesting. So, one of the things I really like about your work is the details of your paintings, and because you use pastel and also watercolors, so to draw them, actually, it's even more, a lot harder. So talk to me about that. How do you do those details?
Okay, I'll tell you everything. Well, I think I'm a perfectionist as a person. I think everything stems from my love for mathematics and science in general. I'm a really perfectionist. My goal is not, I don't like hyperrealism. I don't consider myself a hyperreal artist, because the detail is not the main goal for me. I want to convey an emotion. The detail is just something more for me. I don't care about detail. Van Gogh is one of my favorite artists, Edvard Munch as well. And of course, their work is not really detailed. So, well, actually, when I started painting in oils, not pastels, not watercolor. Yeah, I started painting in oils because, if you think about painting, you think about oils, right? Oil painting. So I started painting in oils, and that was 2016. But the problem is, after like 1 month, you can see on my Instagram, I have a very old still life I painted in 2016. Yeah, still very realistic, very detailed. It was just training for me, because I was learning about oil painting and stuff. But after like 1 month of painting in oils, someday I just started having some weird headache. But it was not just regular. Yeah, I will explain to you. It's very common. It was not a real headache. It was just I was feeling sick, but I was feeling sick in my head. It was very strange. So I really did not know what the fuck was going on with me. So after a few days, I realized I was developing sensitivity towards turpentine. Turpentine is a natural solvent used in oil painting, and I started developing this sensitivity to turpentine. So I could not use turpentine anymore for painting. That was not a problem. A lot of oil painters have this problem. It's very common. That's why you have to keep your studio well ventilated and keep the air flowing to purify the air. Yeah, while painting in oil, that's a must. So that was my sensitivity to turpentine was not really a problem because I started using odorless paint thinner, odorless turpentine, whatever it's called. It's a product by Winsor Newton, a very famous brand, you know, our supply. And that was not a problem because I switched from turpentine to odorless paint thinner, which is supposed to be much less toxic. So everything was fine, but after a few months, I started developing sensitivity towards liquid as well, which is a medium used in oil painting. At that point, I was like, okay, I'm done with oil painting. I have to try something different. Yeah, and even a lot of other artists just, you know, they start painting in watercolors because of this specific reason. And so after oils, I thought about a different medium to try, and I started painting in watercolors because watercolor is another very popular medium in art. And so, yeah, and so I started painting watercolors. And that was the beginning of 2017, I think. And eventually, at the end of 2017, like in September, I think, I tried pastel for the first time. And it was immediate love for me because pastel is such an immediate and quick medium to use, and you have a very strong direct connection with your painting surface because you paint with your hands. And so there is no, you know, there is no brush, there is no, you have a strong connection, direct connection with you and with your painting. So that's why I love pastel so much.
Okay, and okay, that's okay. It explains a lot. So one of the things I noticed in your work is that there is a strong paradox. One is happiness, and the other is pain, anxiety, sadness. I believe that. I believe that's something related to you, and you're passing on to us as an audience through your paintings. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, I usually don't like talking about my life and myself. I will call myself an introvert, and I'm not shy. I'm not shy at all. I'm just introvert. Well, there is something I really like about you, Borna. When I started talking to you for the first time, and I started looking at your profile on Instagram, I noticed, and especially when you told me about your past and all the problem you have been through, essentially, what I like about you is that you don't want others to judge you without knowing who you are, without knowing the person you truly are. And it's the same for me. Because I'm not sure if I told you that before, but I have Asperger's. Asperger's syndrome, yeah. Essentially, it's like high-functioning autism. Yeah, it's a form of autism. Yeah, exactly. But it's like, yeah, it's high-functioning. So if you look at me, you would never tell I have Asperger, but I do, and I have social anxiety. I don't feel, you know, comfortable in crowded spaces and stuff like that, and I have so many different problems because of that. And I had a lot of, you know, problems during my life because of this condition, and I don't want others to judge me. Okay, so I'm an introvert. In today's society, if you're an introvert, if you're an introvert, you're like not, you're like stigmatized, because today there is something which I consider like the cancer of our society, which is toxic positivity. You have to be positive all the time, all the fucking time. And to me, it does not make any sense, because, you know, negative emotions are something human. They're related to us, and we have this connection. We have to embrace our negative emotions because they are part of us. I'm not a negative person at all, but you know, I embrace my negative emotions. I am a gloomy person, and I'm proud of it, because I don't want others to tell me you have to smile all the time, you have to be happy all the time. I'm not like that, and I don't want to change myself to please other people, right? So essentially, people are quick at judging you for your, you know, sexual orientation, for your religion, for your ethnic background, for everything. So I don't like that, you know. So
no one likes that. But the reason that I brought up that concept or subject, because it's quite obvious actually through your painting, which I really like it, and I love that paradox which is happening in the happiness, and also in the on the other hand you can feel the sadness, which it makes your work quite unique. Now I want to change the atmosphere. I want you to do, we made an agreement. So I want you to grab your phone and give us a tour. Actually, take us with you and show us whatever you're painting.
Here, this is a watercolor I painted like 2 years ago, I think. Sadly, I don't have any large pastel painting with me right now, because they are all sold or you know, exhibited in galleries. But here is a watercolor I painted 2 years ago. It's a forest, and you can see here there is a solitary person alone. Yeah, it's supposed to convey a sense of tranquility, but also a sense of loneliness. You know, that's why I always paint this you know, solitary person in the background in the forest. This is painted in watercolor. Without any use of white color, so it's only transparent watercolor, and it's framed under museum glass. I don't know if you know about museum glass. It's a special glass used for framing paintings, and has UV protection up to 99%. So it protects your, you know, your painting from sunlight, and yeah, it's great because it has almost no reflection. Well, there is a bit of reflection I can see there, but it's really not that much. Here is the worst lightning you can imagine for this painting. So, but generally, if you look at this painting in a gallery, for example, there's almost no reflection. You can look at the painting like the glass was not there at all. So that's, can you see the details, right?
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, thank you. It's all painted using transparent watercolor. There is no white at all. I used masking fluid to recreate this, you know, leaves on the ground, falling on the ground. This is like it took me, I think, 1 month to complete this painting.
Wow.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time.
Wow, that's amazing. I really do love that.
And there is a small pastel I painted during quarantine.
Can you please bring it?
Sure. Yeah, but I can't touch the surface because it's not fixed. I use no fixative for my pastels. That's yeah, that's totally out of my mind. I had no photographic reference for this, so it's all by my imagination. and it's all pastels on board. It's a board, it's a museum board. It's like a composite panel with polyurethane foam embedded inside, 2 layers of cardboard. It's a great surface for pastel painting. And on top of this panel, I glue my pastel paper, which is a special paper made for pastel. So, and here I can show you, this is a pastel pencil. Basically, it's dry pastel, and you can sharpen these for details. You asked me about details. Yeah, and of course, if I had to draw details with pastels, I use this kind of pencils because they're great for details. I can sharpen them and I can paint details, while these are, I can show you, are dry sticks. These are the pastels I use to paint the most of my, the largest areas of my paintings. And here there's a huge box of pastels. Look how beautiful they are. And this is so fucking expensive, as you can imagine. Yeah, it's a French brand. I love them. It's a French brand called Giraud. You can see their icon here. It's a French brand of pastels.
Okay. Wow, you've got a huge palette.
Yeah. The problem with dry pastels is that you can't pre-mix the colors before applying the colors onto the surface. So it's not like with oil colors. You can, of course, with watercolor or oil color, you can pre-mix the color, but with pastels you can't. You have to. That's why you need a huge assortment of colors. Your palette is obviously huge because since you can't pre-mix the colors, you must have a lot of pastels to choose from. So you can see here I have the darks and the light colors, greens. It's beautiful to look at. Skin tones, yellow tones, grays, neutrals. There's everything here. And I really love this kind of pastels. They're very expensive, but at least for me, they're the best pastels on the market right now.
Okay.
So, and here I have all my watercolor tubes. These are my watercolors. It's basically, there is the paint inside of these tubes. They look like, because, a lot of people are used to the small goodie, and this is different. I only paint with watercolor tubes. They're by Maimeri, which is an Italian brand. Daniel Smith, an American watercolor brand. They're by Winsor Newton. This one is by Winsor Newton. They're all have a lot of colors actually, and I don't really paint that much in watercolors anymore, but. That's, and here I have a few watercolors I've painted in the past. I think you have seen this one on my Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah, here is another.
I couldn't believe that is a watercolor. Looks amazing. Looks like a print.
Here is another one. I think you have seen this one as well. Paper falling everywhere.
You need to.
Yeah. Don't worry. It's not. I have not framed this one still, and it's all watercolor. You see here, it's all watercolor. It's all painted.
Wow.
It took me a lot of time to complete this painting because
Wow, that's amazing. Well done. Bravo.
Thank you.
Grazie.
Yeah, it's all watercolor. I'm sorry I have no large pastel paintings here in my studio right now, because they're
what
only
else?
in gallery.
What else do you have at your studio? When can we go and see? Show us a little bit your
All
studio.
paints. These are all paints. I have a lot of oil tubes actually, but I really want to start painting in oils again. I just have to try different mediums for the painting, because I really need a non-toxic medium to mix with the paint in order to avoid my sensitivity. And yeah, essentially, here is another watercolor. Here is the paper I have prepared. If you look, I stretch the paper. Basically, I soak the watercolor paper into the water, and then I just, I fix the paper using water-activated tape, paper tape, in order to keep the watercolor paper stretched onto the wooden board. This way, even if I apply water and I paint on that, it does not bend, it does not, warp. It keeps like perfectly flat. The surface, it kept perfectly flat, and that's a trick. Watercolor painters use to stretch their paper. So yeah, it's a great way to prepare your surface for painting. Yeah, there is not much to see actually in my studio, because my studio, it's pretty small. It's just a part of the attic in my house. Oh yeah, the view from my studio.
Tell me, what is there? Where is
Yeah,
that?
wait, I will show you. It's a beautiful day actually.
Oh my God, that is beautiful.
Yeah, that's called Lake Maggiore in Maggiore. In Italian, it means like the biggest, the most important. But actually, it's not the largest lake in the north of Italy. But yeah, it's still pretty big. And yeah, today is a beautiful day. You can see the lake surface; it's perfectly flat. There is no wind at all. It's a great day for to go outside and go for a walk and.
Yes, it looks like a painting. That's itself.
Yeah, you're right. Well, it's a beautiful place to live in. I want to be honest with you. Yeah, it's great. I love my place. I love my place.
I love it. I love it. All right. Thank you very much for showing us around. So I want to continue my question. So I will let you to have a seat and keep going. Francesca, another thing I noticed in your work is the choice of women, and none of them look at the camera. Is that intentional? Is that something that you want to show? That's what I've noticed. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, at first, when I started painting with pastel, yeah, I used to represent my subject face, and so the model was recognizable at first. But over time, I just, I'm really passionate about romantic art from 19th century, Caspar David Friedrich, all these kind of painters, Böcklin, German symbolism, all this kind of stuff. And what I noticed in their work is that the face is never painted, is never represented. Like the person represented in the painting is always depersonified. Depersonified, yeah, is that a word? Yeah. So essentially, you can't tell who the model is, and the reason why I always paint women, girls in my paintings, is that the female beauty is seen like the symbol of beauty, the symbol of youth. So that's the reason why I represent them. And in my work, I'm moving more and more towards the connection in between life and death, which is a very, very hard theme to represent in art, because in our society, there is this crazy denial of death.
Right.
There is an amazing book. I really suggest you to read because it's amazing. It's a book written by Baker, and it's from, I think, 1973, if I remember correctly, and it's entitled The Denial of Death. You should read it because it's amazing. It's a theory which is quite popular in psychology, and according to this theory, our human civilization, our society, is just, is an attempt for us human beings to defend ourselves from our knowledge of mortality. So all our, actions, they're like attempts to obtain some kind of immortality. But of course, we are not immortal. I believe in God, but of course, according to the author, even religion is an attempt for us to escape for our fear, from our terror of mortality. And if you have a look at medieval art, for example, there is this recurring theme of death, especially starting from the Black Death, the Great Plague, which hit Europe in 1347. And there was this terrible plague which hit Europe and killed like one third of all the population in Europe. And since that very moment, medieval artists, started representing death in their works. Like a typical is like the triumph of death, the dance of death, all these kind of paintings. And for some reason, I don't think that it's a coincidence that this year we have this coronavirus pandemic. And I think I really want to touch this kind of theme in my art. I know it's not easy to represent that kind of stuff because people nowadays don't really want to think about that. All people, they're just brought to the hospital and left there to die. It's very different. If you are a cancer patient and you are a survivor, then you are a warrior, then you're amazing. But if you die of cancer, you're not amazing, because people don't want to look at you because they're afraid of that. And there is a lot of hypocrisy going on in our society. So I really want to represent this kind of medieval iconography, but under a contemporary light, in a contemporary way. Like, of course, with a lot of details, like, because if I paint something super realistic, I can convey my emotions in a much better way, because there is a strong immediate connection in between the observer and the artwork. So that's why I paint this way. Of course, that's the only reason.
That's what I love your work, and I'm sure that lots of people love what you do. And that's what I wanted to have a conversation with you today. So I finished my questions. Thank you so much. We come back
because yesterday you sent me a video. I really love that video because I'm not into positivity stuff like that. But I really love that video because at some point I remember the person talking in that video in the background said something which really hit me, and I can totally relate to that. Because in our society, we see all the time, like, I don't know, people dying suddenly by heart attack, having a heart attack and dying. And, when you're young, you think, oh, I have all my life in front of me. I can do whatever I want. death is so far away. I don't even want to think about that. I feel like immortal. I feel invincible. I feel like a superhero. But you know, I'm 33. You are 35, and I'm starting to realize that life is not really so long, and at some point you grow older, you get old, and you look back at your whole life. And I don't really want to reach some point and say and tell me, oh my God, I really wanted to do that thing. I really wanted to paint that painting, and you know, I don't want to have any remorse. I don't want to have any, you know what I mean. So it's yeah. So I'm a gloomy person. I'm an introvert, but I'm not a negative person, because I totally agree with you that you have to grab your life and focus on what you truly love. What's your passion? Yeah, what your passion is, what's your goal in life, and really pursue your goal and obtain what you want to do. That's because every single moment is precious, because you never know what may happen tomorrow. You may be dead, you may be whatever. So that's important to. There is a Latin phrase I love. It's carpe diem. In ancient Latin, you have to grab the moment, right? Exactly. So yeah, I love Latin because I still think
I'm glad you like that video, and yeah, and well, I have to wrap it up. It was such an amazing conversation with you, and I loved it. So we've been in touch over the past few months. Did you like our conversation?
Yeah, it was amazing, and thank you so much, Shakran. Merci for this conversation, and it was a great pleasure for me as well to have you to be here with you and to talk to you.
No
I
problem.
consider you my friend right now. It's great. I really like it. So
thank you, and I hope to meet you one day in the reality. So
yeah, me too.
Here in Melbourne, or
pizza. I will offer you a pizza here in Italy, because you know here pizzas are amazing. You know, it's a great thing about Italy. It's a great thing about
Italy. Thank you so much. All right, I will catch you. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon.
You too. Bye. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye bye.